Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Ask Pete and Vinnie.
That's right, guys. So as many of you know, this is the series where we take your questions that you have for us, comments from YouTube, messages on Instagram, and we answer them for you right here.
That's right, let's go.
Right, so the first question comes from Maricel Ferns. How many hours do you guys practice? And how did you guys master the guitar so fine?
Oh, thanks a lot Maricel. And that's a great question. So basically when I was learning and a bit younger, I would play a bit more, but these days I try to do at least an hour a day.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't believe that you need to do that thing when people say 8 hours a day. Like, if you can do that, and that's amazing, you know, you're going to be an amazing player if you do that, obviously. But I think an hour of focused practice is the thing that everyone needs to aim for every day, basically, you know.
Yeah, and I would say on the back of that, in terms of focus practice, consistency. Is the number one thing. Because I think, as you said, if you can manage 8 hours a day, amazing.
Yeah.
You'll improve even faster, but you still need to do it every day.
Yeah, exactly. So sitting down 1 hour every day is much better than playing 3 times a week for 5 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously when you do it, just put your phone away, have a plan. Like, I think the other thing as well people forget is that you need to have a strategy, like a plan of what is it that you're learning.
Yeah.
Like, don't just play like random stuff, or just, it's nice to like noodle and like have fun and stuff. You have to do that as well. But I think when you're during that 1 hour we're talking about of focused practice, you need to just like know where you're going and what is it that you're trying to learn, you know. So if you're doing sweep or whatever, then like you do that 1 hour of sweep, you know.
And you're right, like you need to put your phone in the other room. Just get rid of it for that 1 hour, you know, because otherwise you play a little bit, let me check Instagram.
A little WhatsApp, you know.
Can't do
good.
That. Yeah. Consistency though.
That's right. Thanks for your question. Okay, next question from The Sound of Perseverance. What's your stance on 7-string guitars? What do you think are the pros and cons of playing one?
Oh, good question. Well, I mean, I think 7 strings are awesome. It's not something that I play all the time. I have one, an Ibanez 7-string, but it's I think they're cool. I would stick to the 6 strings personally. That's just my personal taste. Pros and cons, I think, the pros, you can get a heavier sound.
Yeah.
You can get, they call them extended range instruments for a reason. You know, you have an extra string there, so your scales can extend down. But yeah, it just depends on what you want to do. You know, you can use it for heaviness, but also you can use it kind of more like Toast and a Bossy and just use the extended range, you know.
I don't own one personally, you know, but we've recently had an experience with a couple of 7-string guitars that Schecter has sent us, and we kept them for about a month, you know. And it was amazing, you know, like the sound is huge. It really kind of moves you in a different way.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But I think I don't think I can see myself being a 7-string primarily kind of guitarist.
I'm with
you know,
on that. Yeah.
You know, I think 6 strings is pretty cool, like drop tunings, obviously. You know, I think one of the cons of 7-string is that I don't know, like, you know, like it seems like it's a bit harder work to play them. Do you get that sometimes?
Well, I mean, the neck is thicker. So
the neck is, it's like I have to put a bit more strength in it. The lower string is really thick as well. So it's like when you slide up and down, it seems like there's a bit more effort in that movement, you know?
Yeah. I think playing lead on them is a different thing as well.
And you can't just grab the neck just the same,
well, exactly,
you know?
because it's thicker, your wrist has to change a little bit. You know, it's a bit more strain, I think.
So I think for me, I can see us even like doing specific stuff on 7-string for sure, but like not as like those players that just they're always on the 7-string, you know, like just like for a specific thing, you know. But it's an amazing sound. I think it's huge, you know. It's just heavy enough, and still you can still keep some definition, you know.
Yeah, and if you've never tried one, go to a guitar shop and try it out, you know.
Thank you for your question.
So the next question comes from Valeria MHR. She asks, if you guys hadn't gone to music school, what other path do you think you would have chosen? Good question.
That's a huge question, Valeria. Thank you. So I think for me, either something within the creative industries, like maybe dance or acting, something like that, you know. If not, though, I think something within the sciences, you know, some sort of like research, scientific stuff, like, you know, or even like something to do with history, which I'm really passionate about, you know. I really enjoy history stuff, reading on history and stuff. So I think like being a historian, maybe, who knows? It's a very hard one. I never really think about that, you know. I've done sales jobs and all sorts of stuff, you know, and like you do you have to do, right? But I think I feel very privileged that we can do this, you know.
Yeah,
musicians and stuff primarily, you know, and
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
as I'm sure many of you will agree, kind of this is the only thing that will make me, and I'm sure you'd agree,
Yeah.
feel truly fulfilled as a
Like,
person.
truly
to,
fulfilled.
to do it
yeah.
as a career. But to answer your question, I think for me, definitely something within the sciences, because I've
Yeah.
always loved science. My dad's a scientist, so it
Yeah.
comes from him as well. I think I would maybe biology or geology.
Like, you could be the next Richard Dawkins.
Well,
Can you imagine?
yeah. No, so biology is really cool. Geology, I've always been really interested in, like rocks and kind of earth sciences, you know, because then you can go hands-on into the field. I would love, I think I would love to do something like that if I wasn't a musician. So something science-based, I think.
Very cool.
Thanks for your question.
Okay, next question from P_Tsitsi. Favorite metal band?
This is the ultimate question, isn't it? Where it's impossible to choose one. I think, well, Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, all the classics
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But then, I like all sorts of metal stuff, like, and then I like kind of black metal, like Mayhem, even stuff like that, to like death metal, Gojira, like all that kind of stuff. But I think if I had to choose one, I think it would have to be Slipknot for me. They were so huge for me as a teenager, and I still love them just as much to this
That's
day.
a great answer, actually.
I think it would
it's
have
like,
to be Slipknot.
It mixes the influence with actually, like, they are truly one of the greats.
Yeah.
They have the best live gig. That's a great answer.
I think I'd have to choose, and also because Corey Taylor puts so much into
Yeah.
the music, like.
That's pretty cool.
So Slipknot.
Cool. I think for me, I would say Metallica was the band that got me in. Metallica and Pantera, quite simultaneously, are the two bands that really got me into metal, and kind of ignited that passion for me. But I think today, for me, it's very hard to beat Soilwork.
So yeah. Check them out if you
Soilwork, Swedish metal band, amazing singer. They have some of the best drummers, and they have those kind of really, really intense, heavy sounds, and then like beautiful open melodic choruses and stuff.
Yeah.
But like super heavy, like not necessarily very commercial a lot of the time, but it's just very kind of anthemic parts to their song. I just really like them. Yeah, it's one of the best bands I can think of, and I think today I would probably pick them if I had to pick one. You know, but Slipknot, it's definitely one of.
Well, Soilworks is a good choice as well.
Yeah,
I don't know why Sweden has that country just produces so many great metal bands.
I don't know. I think it's the.
If you're Swedish, tell us why.
Yeah,
you
that's right.
You got Meshuggah, you got Soilwork, you got Amon Amarth. You got one of the bands, In Flames, like so many good bands, metal bands.
It's I think people have they just stay in playing amazing metal because it's so cold outside. Maybe Ooh, I was a bit stereotypical, but tell us if it's true anyway. Thank you for your question.
Okay, so the next question comes from American Black Goddess. She says, "What was a huge wow moment in your lives since Instagram?"
Very good question.
Good question.
All right, cool. So I think for me, since we've been kind of a bit more well known on Instagram, since the account's taken off a little bit, because our Instagram wasn't that big. It's not even big, like too big these days, but it wasn't a lot. It wasn't what it was today, like a year ago. You know, like
even 6 months ago.
Yeah. So since it's been a bit more like kind of picked up a little bit, I think being recognized on the street is huge.
I couldn't believe that.
Like it's happened in Brazil to me. It's happened in London. It's happened at gigs. It's happened in Camden, which is like an area of London.
Yeah.
If any of you guys don't know. And it's always amazing when someone comes up like, "Excuse me, are you guys?"
It's very humbling.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Man,
We've had a lot of fun like that with you guys. Some of you guys that met us, we end up always grabbing a drink. Having a chat. Everyone's so nice. So I think that for me is like a huge thing that is always. The first time it was like really wow, but even up to this day when it happens, I'm still like, wow, that's crazy.
It is, yeah.
One time we even got recognized by a bartender, and he got us free drinks, which is always good.
Actually, well, I remember your name. Shout out to Jared, who works in. I cannot remember the name of your pub. I'm sorry, by Primrose Hill.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Jared. Man,
That's
it was great to meet you that night, and we'll try and come back soon.
Yeah.
And I think within Instagram, I think you'll agree with me on this. The kind of first moment we had that was a wow moment was when we started doing more reels, and we did For the Love of God, just the beginning intro for Steve Vai, and it got over 1 million views. It was crazy.
I remember I was on holiday and I couldn't believe like this has been seen by a million people.
And then we did the headbang challenge, which is literally so quick. We just had so much fun shooting it, but that would have got over 5 million.
Yeah.
So moments like that within Instagram has been pretty crazy.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. Okay, next question from Kosher Cat. Dream city to visit or already done?
That's a great question. Well, I have to say, I think my favorite city has always been London, so I feel very privileged to live here. Yeah. But if there's one city in the whole world that I want to visit in my lifetime, it would be Tokyo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Tokyo as well. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good choice, right? It's like, because it seems so vast and so dense and so crazy. And just amazing, and the culture is so vastly different from what we know in the West. I think it would be it's so important to go and see a place like that.
I think what I've heard from Tokyo is like that's the ultimate. That's the last level of like traveling. Do you know Anthony Bourdain, like the amazing chef, really kind of inspirational guy. Shame he's died, by the way, but he always says after Tokyo, you think, what next? There's nothing else you can do. It's huge, the culture, the size of it, it must be like mad,
Yeah.
So I think Tokyo would also be my number one.
Yeah.
And I think I've always wanted to go to LA as well, which I haven't yet, but Tokyo, a lot more like of a dream thing for me, for sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
LA is a cool place as well. I went there one time before for a week just to visit, and driving down the big wide boulevards, it really is like you feel like you're in a movie because the palm trees really do line the streets.
Yeah, there's one other trip I want to do, to be fair, which has always been a bit of a dream, which is going to Patagonia.
Oh yeah,
and doing maybe about a month around the area.
Yeah.
Like just maybe camping. Patagonia.
Yeah.
That would be like a bucket list thing I would love to do as well.
Yeah,
at one point.
There's plenty of cities I want to go to. Think about like Rio. I'd love to go there. One place I've been to before that I really want to go back to is Stockholm.
Yeah, I want to go back to Stockholm as well. Yeah. I've been to a few cities that I really wanted to go as well. Like I've been to New York, Nashville. Those are like in the States. But then obviously Barcelona, places like that. Athens could be a good one. I haven't been yet. Cool. Which is like really, it must be very inspiring as well.
Yeah. Let us know what your guys' city is that you want to visit in the comments.
Thank you for your question. So there you go, guys. Thank you for watching this episode of Ask Pete and Vinnie. Now, as you know, we love answering your questions and interacting with you guys. So please keep those questions coming, and we'll keep doing these videos.
That's right, guys. We really enjoy doing this. We love answering your questions. So please leave us a comment on YouTube. Feel free to send us a message on Instagram, anything you want to ask us. And as usual, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps us out. And please consider subscribing to the channel for more content just like this. So until next time, see ya.